Just how different would the story of Naruto be if Minato never died? How much would the Naruto story change, and what character interactions would have been impacted? In today's edition of Naruto What If, we're going to look at just that scenario. Before we go any further, I'm not going to be taking in consideration any of the filler that was added to the Naruto Shippuden anime for the Infinite Tsukiyomi filler arc, because that filler was packed with numerous plot holes and even more retcons to the story. Instead, I'm going to look at the original Naruto manga and all the reference material relevant to the discussion. Now that you've forgotten that atrocious filler arc, let's dive right into this edition of Naruto What If. In order for Minato to never die, we have to establish an opportune trigger act. A close read of the Naruto manga reveals that Minato didn't actually have to die in this scenario. If you recall, there was a moment where Kushina was begging Minato to allow her to use the last bits of her chakra to drag the Kyuubi with her into her death, and Minato would have to live so he could raise their newborn son. Originally, Minato refused to honor Kushina's wishes, declaring that he wished to keep the balance of tailed beast between nations by using the Reaper Death Seal as part of the Kyuubi being sealed into Naruto. In this scenario, Minato would honor the request of his wife, holding their newborn son as he held over her lifeless body and as he held Naruto in his other arm, after she dragged the Kyuubi with her to her death. Now, this would have changed the story drastically. Danzo would have used the Kyuubi attack and the loss of the village's jinchuuriki as grounds to try to have Minato being removed as Hokage. This undoubtedly would have been part of his plan to become the 5th Hokage. However, the moment Minato reveals that he fought off the masked man, who he believed to be Madara Uchiha, any talking of removing Minato would be stopped. With Minato still in power, there are a few things that need to be brought up. The first thing that we need to address is the reconstruction of the village and the Uchiha clan, who had previously lived in the village mixed in with the other villagers prior to the Kyuubi attack. After the reconstruction of the village, they were moved to the outskirts of Konoha. While it can be argued that Minato wouldn't want this to happen, having the other two elders and Danzo continue to rule for this move and keep it in place is something I could see happening. Even if Hiruzen doesn't completely agree with the isolation of the Uchiha clan as he did originally, there will be 3 against 2 when it came to the voting. Also, given Hiruzen's actions in the past, the revelation that the Uchiha clan was likely behind the Kyuubi attack would sway him towards the aggressive move. This creates an even bigger issue that needs to be brought up. In the Naruto Daylight novel, it was revealed that the Uchiha clan had already been against the nomination of Minato being named the Hokage, with Fugaku Uchiha going so far as to be the only head of a clan to not issue a public statement of support for Minato being Hokage. But moving the Uchiha clan to the edge of the village is one of the key components to pushing the core members of the clan to push towards a coup d'etat. Elsewhere, Obito would find it harder to accomplish his goal of recruiting members into the Akatsuki. Though he'd already made a deal with Nagato to form the Akatsuki, he would be able to form the Akatsuki from the shadows, though it would take a little bit longer to do so. It is possible that Danzo, in a bid to undermine Minato, lets it be known that the Uchiha clan was the one behind the attack because the Uchiha was the one who spurred the Nine Tails to attack, thus creating more distrust amongst the villagers towards the Uchiha clan, which could pose to be a problem for Minato. Naruto's character would be drastically different, given there is no definite timetable for how long a tailed beast stays dead before it's reborn into the world. There's no clear point in the timeline for the Kyuubi to reappear. Given Naruto is a newborn in this scenario, it's possible that the Kyuubi resurfaces before Naruto is 12 and graduates the academy. This becomes very problematic. Minato's own words to Kushina was that as a non-jinchuuriki, the only way that he could seal the Kyuubi into Naruto was to use the Reaper Death Seal. While it'd be easy to say that Minato could rummage through the remains of the Uzumaki Shrine and the No Mask called for a jutsu to seal the Kyuubi, like Orochimaru did when he was looking for a way to reverse the Reaper Death Seal, there is no confirmation that such a jutsu was left behind find in a scroll, I'm disregarding that possibility. This either leaves the third Hokage or the fourth Hokage to seal the reborn Kyuubi into Naruto. Given the age of the third Hokage, it's highly debatable if he possessed enough chakra and stamina to seal away such a huge mass of chakra into Naruto. Depending on when the Kyuubi is reborn, Hiruzen could be anywhere from 1 year to 11 years younger than he was when he used the Reaper Death Seal on Orochimaru. The closer to 10 years younger at this point that he is, then the more likely this could be possible. You have to remember that Orochimaru in Kabuto flat out stated that if Hiruzen was 10 years younger, he would have defeated Orochimaru in battle, meaning that his chakra levels and stamina would have been significantly higher than what we saw during that fight. Assuming Hiruzen seals the Kyuubi into Naruto while he's still a toddler, this means that Naruto would possess both halves of the Kyuubi's chakra and the third Hokage would die. Meanwhile, with the third Hokage gone, this leaves Minato with one less ally when it comes to dealing with Danzo and the elders. The growing unrest in the Uchiha clan would continue to build. The Uchiha were already riled up over the Anbu being given the responsibility that the Uchiha police force previously had, and now having been pushed to the edge of the village, isolated from everyone, it's likely the pressure on Fugaku to rebel continues to build, especially since Naruto's Daylight novel revealed that Minato wasn't viewed in a favorable light by the Uchiha clan, and Fugaku took such a public stance against him being Hokage. It would be here that the Hokage and the elders could be made aware of the Uchiha clan's plan to rebel. Minato would suggest meeting with the Uchiha, but Danzo would still likely meet with Itachi directly after the meeting, essentially to blackmail him into the Uchiha massacre. One of Danzo's backup plans that you have to remember is that in case the Hokage didn't agree to eliminate the Uchiha clan, Danzo was going to have all of the Anbu and all of his root ninja attack the Uchiha clan the night before the coup, with Danzo leading the charge, killing the Uchiha before they knew what hit them. The knowledge of this would force Itachi to carry out the massacre. However, just as Hiruzen frowned upon Itachi's choice, so too would Minato. However, before Itachi left to spy on the organization that he tells Minato about, that we all know to be the Akatsuki, Minato would hand him a kunai marked with the Flying Thunder God seal. Things would take a drastic change here. Originally, it was revealed in the manga that Orochimaru left Konoha right after Minato was made Hokage. However, towards the end of the Naruto manga, Kishimoto made a retcon to the story where it was revealed that Orochimaru left the village a few years after Minato's death. Taking this into consideration, I believe that the moment it was suspected that Orochimaru was behind the disappearance of ninja and young children, Minato would lead a team to confront Orochimaru just as Hiruzen did. With no attachments to Orochimaru, Minato wouldn't hesitate to either kill Orochimaru or to render him immobile. Meanwhile, Sasuke would still be driven by hatred and revenge to get stronger, but Naruto in this scenario would be a lot more powerful than he was originally, and this could pose to be a problem. Naruto would have grown up with special jonin like Ebisu training him, just like he did for Konohamaru. Minato also would have trained Naruto to harness the power of the Kyuubi, or at the very least would have worked with him to master chakra control and to help Naruto differentiate between his own chakra and the Kyuubi's chakra, making Naruto more skilled. Due to them being the reincarnates of Ashura and Indra, Sasuke would be further annoyed and driven by Naruto's progress, thus matching his advancement. This means that Naruto wouldn't fail the graduation exam 3 times due to him being more skilled, and Sasuke likely would have graduated earlier as well due to the rivalry effect that comes with them being the reincarnates. This opens up the door to the possibility that Team 7 as we know it wouldn't exist. Naruto's test scores wouldn't have been the lowest due to Minato being there to teach him, which means that Naruto wouldn't be placed on Sasuke's team, since in the manga it was revealed that Sasuke and Naruto were placed on the same team due to Sasuke having the highest test scores and Naruto having the lowest. I'm well aware that the Shippuden anime added filler that contradicted this. However, like in my other videos, I am not taking filler into account for this scenario. This places Minato in a bit of a bind. Kakashi would be the ideal person to train Sasuke to use his Sharingan, but Naruto would be the jinchuuriki of the Kyuubi and would need somebody powerful enough to watch over him. It would be for this reason I believe that Yamato would be called up from the Anbu due to his ability to use wood style to suppress the Kyuubi's chakra. This will leave Kakashi training Sasuke and the other two members of Sasuke's team. By the time the Land of the Waves arc occurs, Naruto and Sasuke's teams will be in possession of enough mission experience to be preparing to enter the Chunin exams, which you have to remember are being held twice a year. Whatever team accompanies Tazuna is likely brought back to the village. Minato would likely send a team of Jonin to the Land of Waves with Tazuna. With the Orochimaru out of the picture, I don't see the Sand Village attempting to attack Konoha. This means that if Naruto and Sasuke hadn't passed the Chunin exams held before the one in the main story, that they would retake the test with the class that they graduated with in the manga, with Team Guy participating as well, since Guy would have had his team held back from the last exam just as he did originally, with the hope of training them up to better prepare them for the Chunin exams. Naruto's team and Sasuke's team would blitz through the Forest of Death, likely making it right behind Gaara's team. If we assume that the final exams proceed just as they are formatted, or more powerful and more skilled Naruto would absolutely curb stomp Neji in the fight. Sasuke would win a very high difficulty battle against Gaara, with the Minato or the Kazekage stepping in if Gaara lost control of the One Tails and began to transform. This would lead to the Naruto vs Sasuke battle in the second round. This fight would be absolutely insane to watch, with Naruto being more powerful and more skilled than originally. Sasuke, on the other hand, would be better trained with his Sharingan, though if he wasn't in full progression of maturity of the Sharingan like he did during the first Valley of the End fight, I could see Naruto defeating Sasuke in a very high difficulty battle. Meanwhile, the winner of the Shino vs Temari fight would go either way in my opinion. The winner of that fight would end up fighting Naruto in the finals. Regardless of who wins, Naruto would win the exam, and in typical Naruto Uzumaki fashion, despite winning the exam, he likely still wouldn't be promoted to Chunin, since it was stated that winning the exam doesn't automatically get you promoted to Chunin. Seeing Naruto win the exam would absolutely destroy Sasuke, since his sole reason for getting stronger was to kill Itachi, and yet he wasn't able to beat Naruto. Given it was stated by Genma in the manga that Sasuke was already at a Chunin level, I could see Sasuke being promoted to Chunin despite losing, with the other promotions being Temari, Shino, and Shikamaru. Tsunade would never be brought back to the village. This would leave her drinking her nights away, proving why she was called the legendary sucker when she stumbles into the wrong gambling hall. With Jiraiya never tracking Orochimaru, he wouldn't have been made aware of the Akatsuki, which is huge. Meanwhile, the Akatsuki's jinchuuriki hunt would continue uninterrupted. After capturing the Two Tails, Hidan and Kakuzu would attack the Fire Temple. Konoha would be made aware of the Fire Temple having a lone survivor, who would describe the two attackers as wearing a black cloak with red clouds on it. Due to not knowing the true threat of the Akatsuki, like Tsunade did in this scenario, Minato wouldn't be pressed to assemble such a large hunt team. The reason being is Tsunade had the benefit of knowing what the Akatsuki as an organization was in terms of them traveling in two-man teams and what they were after. Minato wouldn't have this information. Instead, he would only know the two men attacked the Fire Temple and they killed Shiryu. In my opinion, Kakashi would be on the team meant to find Hidan and Kakuzu. His summoning dogs could pick up their scent, and Kakashi would be one of the more skilled members of the village. With Asuma's connection to Shiryu, I could see Asuma joining the team, and by extension I could see Shikamaru. I could also see Hinata being added to the team because of her Byakugan, and I could see a scenario where Sakura is added as a support ninja, since she would have likely mastered her affinity for genjutsu, since she wouldn't have medical ninjutsu, and that would allow her to support them by using genjutsu. Before Kakashi's team fights the duo, I could see them sending a message to Minato. However, the wild card here is Kakuzu. He would recognize Kakashi immediately, likely due to Kakashi having a bounty on his head. He would also recognize the cloth on on Asuma's waist, likely causing him to step into the battle. At this point, things could get really heated really quickly. There would be no prior intel on the Akatsuki or about Hidan and Kakuzu's abilities, except for what they are able to discern in the battle. This means if Asuma or Kakashi or anyone on the team were cut by Hidan, they're likely dying in a brutal death like Asuma did originally. Then this has the potential to turn into a bloodbath, especially if Hinata or Sakura or Shikamaru are dragged into the fight. However, just as the team are pushed to their limits, Minato would arrive and the following scene would occur. After quickly taking out Hidan, Minato would absolutely demolish Kakuzu, destroying each of his hearts in a dazzling display of power. While the Akatsuki continue their hunt for the jinchuuriki, Itachi, nearing the end of his life, would find a way to confront Sasuke. This is where another major change would occur, and when I say major, I mean major. Itachi would have never met Naruto, which means he would never give him the crow containing Shisui's eye. Before their battle, Itachi would likely go with his trump card to have Shisui's eye used on Sasuke. Itachi planned to have the eye cast the genjutsu on Sasuke in case Sasuke were ever a threat to Konoha. While Sasuke would still be a ninja in the Konoha ranks, Itachi would be aware of Obito's plan to pull him into the Akatsuki, giving him more incentive to use the eye on Sasuke before their fight and then imprint Amaterasu in his right eye just before he passed away. If Obito reveals too much to Sasuke, then ultimately it would cause Sasuke to attack him, since the genjutsu orders Sasuke to protect Konoha. In my opinion, Obito would catch on to the fact that Sasuke's been placed under a genjutsu and forced to retreat once Sasuke doesn't react in the manner that he anticipated. Sasuke will return to the village, knowing the truth about the massacre and a little bit about the Akatsuki, but without any ill intent towards Konoha, causing Itachi's will to be carried out in Sasuke, choosing to see the village as Itachi did as something precious that needed to be protected at all costs. The truth behind the clan, as well as Itachi's sacrifice, would cause him to awaken his Mangekyo. Jiraiya wouldn't have the intel on the Akatsuki leader being in the Hidden Rain village, which means there will be no battle that occurs, which means that Pain arrives in Konoha a lot sooner, while the other team moves on to the Eight Tails, which would be Killer Bee. This would ultimately lead to Obito and Kisame attacking Killer Bee. Due to Samehada being able to sense chakra, Bee wouldn't be able to fool them like he did with Sasuke, and given how powerful Obito is when he gets serious, it's possible that the duo is able to capture Killer Bee before any reinforcements show up, especially if Obito reveals himself to Kisame as being Madara Uchiha. Meanwhile, back in Konoha, while all of this is going on, Minato would quickly connect the Akatsuki to the attack on Konoha 16 years ago, where the QB was almost taken. He would know the Akatsuki were after Jinchuuriki, and that the man he believed to be Madara Uchiha was behind it. Just as Minato would begin the preparations to contact the other villages for a 5 Kage summit, he would look up into the distance to see several explosions as the 6 Paths of Pain began their attack. Minato would likely have Flying Thunder God seals all across the village. Standing atop of the Hokage Tower, Minato would quickly assess the situation, realizing that multiple attacks were going on at once. If Team Guy is in the village, then it's very possible that Guy is fighting alongside Kakashi, which means that the Deva path is likely defeated. Things begin to look really bad for Pain's invasion once Minato begins teleporting around the Hidden Leaf village. Upon seeing the Rinnegan eyes, Minato would at first be startled, but protecting his village would come first. Entering into Sage mode and spamming Flying Thunder God, Minato would aid the various Konoha ninja fighting the Sixth Path. However, before any real damage could be done to Naruto, who would be better trained and have years working towards mastering the QB chakra, would be able to put up more than enough fight to hold off until Minato arrived. The father and son duo would finish off the last remnants of the Six Paths. This ultimately means that Konoha would never be destroyed. However, I do believe that Konan would take the opportunity to retreat once she realized that the Six Paths were being defeated, and she would make her way back to Nagato, which would prompt them to retreat afterwards. With Konoha not knowing the truth behind the Six Paths, which they wouldn't know that Nagato controlled them from a distance until the bodies of the Six Paths were examined, sensing more urgency than ever before, Minato would call the Five Kage summit with Kakashi and Jiraiya serving as his bodyguards. It would be here that Obito will reveal himself as Madoru Uchiha, accompanied by the new Deva path that Nagato creates. After announcing the next great ninja war, Obito would order the Deva path to use Shinra Tensei to destroy the venue. With only the army of Zetsu that Obito created in secret and no Kabuto to aid his Edo Tensei, the alliance would still be faced with a very tall task. The remaining members of the Akatsuki aren't pushovers, especially if you've seen my True Power series, then you know that the Akatsuki are insanely powerful. The huge plus for the alliance is that Sasuke will be fighting alongside them, though he wouldn't have the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, since Obito likely would have collected Itachi's body. However, things get even darker if Obito convinces Nagato to use the jinchuuriki as its new Six Paths of Pain, which means we could potentially see Gar and Killer Bee used as one of the jinchuuriki Six Paths, which would enrage the Raikage. If this were to happen and they go into the bijuu transformations, the Five Kage would have no choice but to step in, or else the alliance would be wiped out. However, with Jiraiya still being alive and likely having seen Yahiko's dead body, he would likely be on the battlefield as well, since he would know that Nagato was one of the Pains. If there were any Zetsu in the area, Minato and A would likely speed blitz them, with A using his lightning chakra to amp his speed and Minato using his Flying Thunder God. The battle that ensued would be absolutely epic. Any bijuu bombs that were fired off, Minato would be able to use his Flying Thunder God Guiding Thunder to teleport them away. However, if Nagato gets it in his mind to have one of the Six Paths use Chubaku Tensei, this means that if the Five Kage can't react fast enough, they're likely crushed inside the Chubaku Tensei. However, if Minato were able to coordinate his attacks with the other Kage before this happened, then the Sixth Jinchuuriki could be defeated. Knowing that the Six Paths were being controlled remotely, Minato would use Sage Mode to reverse track Nagato and send Jiraiya there, deciding to face off against the one that he believed to be Madoru Uchiha and the one that he knew to be the true puppet master. While Jiraiya confronts Nagato, the Five Kage will lead a battle against Obito. This fight quickly goes against Obito in this scenario. He doesn't have Nagato's Rinnegan, with Minato using Sage Mode and Flying Thunder God, and having the Five Kage there to add him as backup. Obito would find himself pressed to the point he would have to consider retreating to Nagato's location. The reason being is that Obito would have no choice but to carry out Madara's will to betray Nagato and force him to use the Rinne Rebirth to revive Madara in exchange for Nagato's life. The moment that Obito appeared, the plan would go into effect and Madara would be revived. After taking possession of both of his Rinnegan, Madara would quickly kill Jiraiya and Obito would update him on the situation. Madara would attempt to summon the QB like he did when Kabuto revived him and fail and confirm what Obito told him. Not knowing Obito had retreated to revive Madara, if Minato teleports the 5 Kage to the location, seeing the real Madara Uchiha standing beside Obito would throw him for a loop. Madara would use both Rinnegan and quickly dominate the Kage, especially if Obito were there to aid him. On top of having all of his 6 paths jutsu, Madara will also have his limbo cones to attack the Kage, which Minato will be able to sense using his Sage mode and could be used to coordinate attacks. This would ultimately force Minato to use his ultimate trump card in the battle. If Madara fights being in character, then he would toy around with the Kage, which would allow for Minato to counter any attacks that Madara uses by coordinating attacks with the Kage, with them providing diversions, and after extremely high difficulty, Minato could mark Madara with the Flying Raijin seal. Minato would then order Mei to use the Hidden Mist Jutsu, pouring nearly all of her chakra into the mist. Mei's jutsu would be able to hide Minato in the thick mist, while the Sharingan would be unable to see through the mist. Like mentioned in the manga, it is also highly likely that the Rinnegan could see the mist but couldn't see through Mei's colored chakra. However, in the brief seconds, Minato would be able to produce a shadow clone and perform the hand seals for the Reaper Death Seal. Due to Madara's arrogance and tendency to play around with fights with weaker ninja, it's very possible that Minato takes advantage of Madara's character defect and in that split second uses the Reaper Death Seal to seal away Obito and Madara. After the mist vanishes, the dead bodies of Minato, Obito, and Madara will lay scattered across the battlefield. Realizing that his plans have been foiled and that the Koto Matsukami being used on Sasuke to protect Konoha was still in effect, Zetsu will be forced to hide away in the shadows and wait for the next reincarnations of Ashura and Indra in his quest to revive Kaguya. In the aftermath of the war, Minato would be celebrated as a ninja who ended the 3rd and 4th Great Ninja War, cementing his legacy as arguably the best Hokage in Konoha history, as well as the greatest ninja in the Naruto universe. What do you guys think could have happened if Sasuke had been hit with Koto Matsukami, and how do you personally see the battle with Minato and the 5 Kage against Madara being? Do you think Madara stays in character, or do you think that Madara, because he's so close to accomplishing his goal, doesn't drag out the fight but instead goes for the kill? Let me know down in the comment section below. But as always guys, if you like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, share, and never forget that Senju DNA is love and Senju DNA is life.